Well, this Matchless dirt box has given me a lot of uh, challenges, and you just got to go through everything you know and everything you think you know, and theorize and hypothesize and try stuff. That's a fancy word for try some shit. So this cable that they use, this shielded cable that they use, is like telephone wire. It's two conductor with a foil shield, and then a bare wire at each end, though they've telescoped that. And as you saw in the previous videos, picked up hum, lots of bleed, lots of interaction, terrible stuff, very noisy, very microphonic. So I took that out, and I first put in a length of this Mogami. Can't remember the model, the name for this. I'll put it on the screen. And I did a telescope shield on this. So the tip was going to the center conductor, and then the shield was on the sleeve, going to the other end with just the tip connected to the center conductor. And I knew I could do that because they had this single wire going from sleeve to sleeve on the input and output jacks, which are isolated from the chassis, though there is a wire from the input jack sleeve to a terminal, which is grounded on the chassis. So that's the chassis connection. And they didn't want two, so they isolated both jacks. And this wire was run from ground to ground, so I only had to have this Mogami cable from tip to tip, positive to positive, shielded at one end. And that greatly reduced the hum compared to this stuff, but it wasn't gone. And while moving stuff around, and again, this has got 300 volts in it, you could kill yourself with this. Don't do this because you saw some guy on YouTube. I use this plastic chopstick, basically. I was moving stuff around, and I noticed that even the ground wire that they had in there, if I moved the ground wire, the hum would get worse and better. The transformer field was being picked up by the ground wire, and that's not good. So I thought, well, let me try something theoretical. And in addition to this Mogami run, I did another run of that Mogami cable, which had this center conductor and sleeve tied at one end, so that it's again, it's telescoped, and went from ground to ground. And I tried it with the telescope being connected to the input and the telescope being connected to the output. And that was better than this, but it wasn't perfect, and I could still move it closer and farther from the transformer and change the background noise. This is kind of a theoretical thing. And I thought, well, what the hey? Actually, I thought something else, but I'm trying to not make this thing too family unfriendly. I already crossed the line once. With this instrument cable that I use from Mogami, 22 something, I'll put the cable number up on the screen. I did not have any pickup of hum from the transformer. With this stuff, bad pickup from the transformer. And with this better Mogami cable, but very small, I had reduced hum, but it was still there. And I thought, what's the difference between this Mogami cable and this Mogami cable, aside from size? Well, the difference is the larger Mogami cable has got the center conductor and its insulation, and it has the outer spiral braid and then its outer jacket. But between the spiral braid and the insulator of the center conductor, they've got that black material, which is conductive. And that makes it a better shield, and makes it less microphonic, less prone to any handling noise or movement. It does increase capacitance a little bit, but we're talking a foot. It's not going to be anything that's going to make or break the sound, especially compared to how dark this thing sounded in stock form. Once this is finished in bypass, it'll be transparent. That's just like going from a 15-foot guitar cable to a 16-foot, no big deal. So I had this Canary G something cable, I'll put its number up, which is smaller than the full instrument cable, but has the same build in terms of having that black layer over the center conductor insulation that's contacting the shield. In this case, it's a braid rather than a spiral. And I put this in here, and I did a full length loop to where the switch will be, and then back to the output jack, and the last of the hum is gone. This is not picking up hum no matter where I position it, and that's nice. I've got to go underneath these bulbs so that they don't cast a shadow. And I've got it wrapped around here to where it will be when it's in circuit, to make sure that there's no noise from these caps, no noise from the tubes, no noise from this stuff. Even over here by the switching stuff, that big rectifier bridge and the diodes, it's not picking anything up. So I think that was the magic trick. And when this is all assembled, I can steer all the signal cables, except for the output jack, away from this power transformer. I'll be replacing these as well with the same stuff. The only thing I cannot guarantee is that the field from this transformer won't be picked up by any of their audio circuit in here. I will jump off that bridge when I come to it, because that's all I can do. I do want to say that the owner of this pedal shouldn't be having to pay me to undo such basic, colossal errors. This is the stuff that most other companies would have discovered when they first did their prototype. They'd say, oh, we're getting a whole bunch of hum from this transformer. We've got to make a change. Either move the transformer or move the output jack, change the wire like I did here. You know, I just went through the wire that I had on stock, and this Canary does the job without being as physically large as the full instrument cable. And other companies would have to fix that between the prototype and hitting the market, or no one would buy it. They'd say, oh, that company makes a noisy thing. Why would I buy a noisy thing? This company releases anything to the market because it says Matchless. And people say, well, it says Matchless, it's got to be great. And if it's hummy and noisy, well, that's vintage. And I just think that's a load of... It's very frustrating when companies build up their marketing to the point where they no longer have to build up their engineering. And there's an entire, there's one of the most desired guitar amps out there, even puts engineering in their name. It's only in the name, it's not inside the boxes. And I think Matchless, to some large degree, is guilty of that a lot as well. But, you know, this is not about me ranting. This is about me fixing the problem for the owner. And I'm very pleased with this. Now I know that I can do the rest of the work. I don't want to change all this wiring out and then find we still had a problem. I had to do this bypassed. And bypass now, the audio circuit's no longer loading down the input. It doesn't have that 1 meg to ground hanging off the input. That'll be moved to the switch. So when this thing is bypassed, it'll be as transparent as a foot of this Canary G whatever allows it to be. And this is the same stuff I use for making pedal boards. This is really good quality wire. So I think everyone's going to be very happy at the end of this. I certainly am a lot happier now that I know that I can slay the hum dragon.